Great. Well, thank you all for being here. Tim and I own CINCH CCM, but prior to that, we owned Aware Senior Care. So we've walked in your shoes, and we actually created CINCH out of necessity. Out of necessity for doing
in our first community.
in our first, yeah.
Right.
We decided so I am going to go ahead and kick it off and go right into. We're just going to give you a little bit broad strokes, our story, and why can't you just use traditional scheduling in community care and all the lovely things we've learned. And it doesn't matter how you charge by task, a la carte, or package visits. You can do it. CINCH can help you schedule it your way, because that's what it's all about. So a little bit about our story. We had our agency about a year. We were asked to take over in a community while the other agency pulled out suddenly. So the picture on the left gives you a little picture of what we faced. And we're like, this is great. This is wonderful. How hard can this possibly be? Once we got into it, we were the picture on the right. We're like, oh my gosh, we can't use the platform we were using for our traditional care. We tried, and now that is actually what we look like. So we learned a lot from that. We learned that you can't that was me on the right. Assigning caregivers to specific clients in community care is just an administrative nightmare. How you pay them, how you charge the clients, it just doesn't work the way it does in traditional settings. So we know the platforms. Somebody came up with, let's charge by task. Let's bundle the tasks together and charge by the task. So we looked into that. We tried it for a very brief time, but we found that, clients are unique. They have unique abilities and needs. So what was a 30-minute visit in the morning to help one client get dressed and do the 5 or 6 bundled tasks, it took somebody else 15 minutes, or it took somebody else 45 minutes. So we really struggled and found that did not work for us. Another feature of the community care in the platform we had was they could release the visits. If they were assigned to a client, I guess what you call it, releasing tasks. If they couldn't get to that task, they could just release it. Well, in the small community that we had, there was nobody watching to see make sure the tasks was picked up. Clients didn't get what they needed. And, I'm a nurse. I can't imagine just saying do it or not do it depending on how your visits work out. So, and then teamwork among caregivers. One of the keys to success in community-based home care is getting the caregivers to work as a team. That doesn't apply. One-on-one home, if you're in a house, there's only one caregiver. And what we found was that teamwork, when you foster that and when you give them the tools to act like a team, it's amazing. It's a big key to your success. So what we learned, we did by the time we sold our agency, we had done community care in 4 communities, all of them unique, managing about 150 clients. So it is a very lucrative, recurring, steady revenue source when it's managed well.
Yeah.
So there were times when we didn't manage it well. That's
yes.
right. That's right. That how you schedule your client visits is going to be the key to the success of your business and community care. How you offer and price your services should be based on the community. Now, you can be in 3 different Atria buildings and they may be extremely different. We did not offer services the exact same way in any of our 4 buildings. So you really have to know the community to know what does that community need at this time, because that does change over time, and make sure that you're offering to capture the needs of the residents. And one thing that we didn't necessarily do, but I think is what we've learned, is to charge a higher price when you have clients who only want a few visits. I just want 2 showers a week. And then for unscheduled visits, when a caregiver gets called into a room because the client doesn't feel well, or they stay an extra half an hour when they were only paying for a half an hour visit. So capturing that and charging higher prices for those is really good for your bottom line. Gets the clients what they need, but it's much better for scheduling so you don't cause havoc in your scheduling. So let's take a look at the different ways to schedule community care. And I started out with charging by tasks because that is the most common one we come across. It's because the major platforms built their community cares to charge by tasks or by bundled tasks, because their systems are set up to pay the caregiver based on the client visit. So you can do this in Cinch. You can charge by task if that's the way you want to do it. In fact, we have one client she's very successful, charges, her whole community is based on the tasks. So in Cinch, you would, just like you did, you would assign the cost to the task, a certain task that you want to charge for. In configuration, you can just put that cost, a shower is going to cost you $30. But you also need to determine the visit lengths you're going to offer. And this is one thing that we have found is most important. You need to know approximately how much time the caregiver is going to spend with the client. So a shower might take 30 minutes, shower might take an hour. So if you're charging by task, you have to determine the appropriate length of time your caregiver needs with that specific client and set that length to that client's visit. So agencies decide, some do 10-minute, 20, 30, 45, others do 15, 30, 45. Doesn't matter how long, whatever it is, you set your visit durations, your visit lengths. And if you're only charging by task, you don't assign any charge to the visit itself. There's no cost associated with the length of time. So you're gonna say, okay, Mrs. Smith wants a shower. She's gonna need at least 45 minutes due to her mobility issues and the shower itself. So you say, okay, the visit doesn't cost anything. I'm putting in the task of a shower. We charge $30. Well, we're also doing a medication reminder at the same time. Well, we charge $10 for that. We're gonna make her bed, help her get dressed. We don't charge for those. So you put in all the tasks so the caregiver knows exactly what to do during that visit, and then what you charge for, that'll be captured. So it's up to the agency to select the appropriate length of times you need for the visit. We had a community where we charge and we charge by time. So we said escorts to meals was $12. So we had a lady on the 4th floor, used a walker, had to walk to all the meals, which was great. But it took nearly 25 minutes for her to she was at the far end of the 4th floor, to get to the elevator, to get down to the dining room. It was about 25 minutes for her meal escort. So why charge her the same price as the woman her apartment is straight across from the dining room. She just needs a reminder to knock on the door and say, hey, come on, it's time to go to lunch. So that's a brief look at the charge by task. Is there any questions at this point about that?
Well, I'll insert a question at the risk of getting hit here. What's the cons of doing a task approach?
But you've got to decide how long the visit is. So we don't assign a length of time to the visit. To the task. So a shower is not 30 minutes, it's $30. And then they have to decide. What we found is our customers who charge by tasks, and they say, well, I'm going to charge you $10 to get your blood pressure checked, $10 for medication reminder, $10 to empty the trash, etc. So I've asked them, I'm like, does the aide go 3 different times to the apartment? What if they go to the apartment and they accomplish all 3 tasks in 15 minutes, but you're going to charge them $30? So and then come to realize that, oh, well, I don't really know. So it's like, take all the tasks you want and put them in. So if you have a family that says, hey, in this standard visit, that's 30 minutes, I got charged for a shower, I got charged for a medication reminder, I got charged $45. But then on this day, when she didn't have a shower, she got charged $20 based on the task that they did. So it can be really challenging. Families, I know that when I looked at it, I had a hard time justifying charging by the task, but we have very successful customers that do that. And if that's the way your agency is doing it, likes to do it, wants to do it, we have the tools to make it happen.
Right, so we can guide them, and you can see just simple breaking it down, because I'm the operations guy. All clients are not created equal. And I had personal experience with my mom on this, and a shower, which theoretically I'm thinking is 20 minutes, it turns into 45. And if you're undercharging, but more importantly, the caregiver's there longer, you're putting yourself at risk of being under the water. So that it can be done, but it's gotta be done very smartly,
Right.
right?
And what our customers that came in doing this, we have a report in Cinch that says schedule versus actual time. So even if you're time-based, you can run that report and say, you know, these were supposed to be 15-minute visits and the caregiver is consistently there 25 to 30 minutes. Gives you the tools to go back and have a conversation with the client and the family. And same thing with the tasks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for asking. So a la carte or pricing per visit. So in this scenario, it's basically like traditional. This is what I was looking for when we started in community care. Why can't I say the client wants a 30-minute visit and this is exactly what they want done? So unlike traditional, they are not, the visit is not timed. If they have a 30-minute visit, they are charged for a 30-minute visit. Whether the aide is there for 5 minutes or 5 hours, they're charged for a 30-minute visit. So we would explain to clients and families, visits are up to, you know, a standard visit, 25 to 30 minutes, a brief visit, 10 to 15 minutes. You know, if it goes a couple minutes over, a couple minutes under, it should be approximately about that amount of time. Same thing, the agency chooses what your durations are gonna be. And in Cinch, you name them, and that's what shows up on the invoice. So they had a check-in visit at 7 a.m. They had a standard visit. Now, the folks that were doing it by tasks and have changed over to time, they like keeping their morning visit called a rise and shine, for example. So it shows on the invoice, hey, they had a rise and shine every morning from 7 to 7:30. And that's fine. It's just the visit durations are not the names of tasks. So within these visits, we assign tasks to them. So we don't have charges for the task. It's client specific. It's exactly what the client wants. But it is up to the agency when you're sitting down and you're meeting that client, signing them onto service. How much time? Mrs. Smith, you know what? Unfortunately, she has Parkinson's disease and the mornings are very challenging. We need to allot 45 minutes for that morning visit because it just takes her longer to get up and moving. And you know what? She only needs 15 minutes in the evening to go to bed. So it's very individual. It's very much like traditional. What does the client need and when do they need it?
Yeah, I could take a checkpoint there. Mike, if you could share our sample pricing as a thank you to everybody that's here. Just to this point, we're sharing, we call it Cinch Bill, and it's our brochure, and it's exactly what we offered our one of our largest communities. And Micah Kilgore on this call was our administrator at the front of the ship, and he and I had to work with families and answer questions about invoicing. I think if you're sitting back and you're going, well, I don't know how that will play out if I have a 15-minute visit and a 30-minute visit, they see that they'll ask questions. I can understand where you're coming from on that, but I think Mike and I can attest to is once they understood how we were doing this time-based and the value of building custom care plans and not rushing people, and they get exactly what they want, we got no questions. Right, Micah?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, it was something that helped to actually make things a little bit more simple for them to understand. So that if they needed to add some services, if they needed to have mom came home from the hospital and we need to add some things, it's very easy for them to be able to understand what that would look like. Mhm.
Right. Yep. So again, I just wanted to chime in because one of the most important things is questions from the families about their services and the invoicing and the service agreement. And we have samples of this. The families are expectations set up front, just what Gina said, up to and so, but they all got, okay, I get it.
Right.
And then they understood the methodology for building their custom care plans. And it was great. And then from there, it was just adding and subtracting. We vary the time.
Right. And being the numbers people, we're all about the reports, run those reports, find out how long they're actually spending in there.
Right.
Listen to your caregivers, because we give you the tools and we can back up the caregivers who need you to schedule more time with them. And then package services are great too. So it's important for the agency to determine the number and the duration of the client visits that are in each package. Because remember, you need to know how many caregivers you need to schedule and when. So you need to know how much time they're spending with in-client visits. I think it's very important to offer a variety. So small packages, hey, I just need a rise and shine and a tuck-in visit. And you give them a little bit of a price break on that because you've got 7 days a week, two steady visits a day. And then as they need more, you know what, a basic package can be 4 15-minute visits. They don't need a lot of help, but why define, this one's to go to the bathroom, this one's to go to a meal, this one's for a medication reminder. It's all based on the client. It's a visit and what that client needs at that time. That's the task you put into the visit. So that way you're not saying, well, that was supposed to be a bathroom visit, but I did a medication reminder. So offering a variety of package. So really, when you have clients that have a lot of service, they have a lot of needs, keep giving them packages gives them the opportunity to stay in their independent community. You can charge them a lower price because you've got consistent visits for your caregivers. You can schedule your caregivers because you know exactly how much time you need. And you can sit down with them and say, okay, these are the services that you need. This package really fits you right now. And then as they're perhaps using more and more time, you have the tools to say, hey, let's take a look and maybe move up to this package so you can stay here. That's the biggest thing. You're adjusting to their needs.
And we had a conversation with one of our, we have a number of avid clients, like the Hobbs family in Cincinnati that do this. And it makes sense when there's a lot of visits. We were having a conversation, they want six 15-minute visits throughout the day. And if it's $15 a visit, $90 a day, 7 days a week. Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
So there's a case where a bundle makes sense when there's a lot of care needed. And it's like the progressive bundle and save.
Yeah.
As long as you track it, you'll find that, okay, making a little less money than a la carte, but you're doing right by the client and actually making a pretty good gross profit too.
Yeah, yeah. So that's right. So really, if we were to do it again, if we were starting over, we really recommend offering some a la carte with those package services. We were talking to a new customer and he was like, nope, I'm only gonna do packages, only gonna do packages. And I'm like, that's great, but you might be missing revenue. If you have somebody who only wants 2 or 3 showers a week, you're missing the revenue if you want to lock them into a daily package. He wanted to just charge a daily package to anybody that signed on to service in the community. I'm like, and that's fine, but are you missing being able to serve people who don't need that, but may need it in the future?
Yeah.
So, residents that have fewer needs, those price per visits really are great. Packages save them money. You've got a steady amount of client visits. And it's serving. I think the most important thing is knowing your community. What works in one community may not work in another. Our 4 communities could not have been more different. They were really, we had to manage them differently.
Yeah. And we're gonna have a summary chart, guys. I really want to emphasize that point that each community is so different and give it, because we were in like 4 different communities. But one of our joys is sharing our experiences with our customers. And this, when you look at the technology providers out there and WellSky, Access Care, there's some great technology providers. ERSP, I can go down a list of 20. But the one thing they don't have that we have is the superpower. We were you guys. And we went through the school of hard knocks from no technology to, thankfully I know a lot of people, and my background is mainly in development. I didn't know home health from home care when we first got into it. But we created something special here. And then we wrapped around the whole kit and caboodle. So we are offering this to our customers, in addition to CINCH, to work with you, look at your communities, and come up with a custom game plan. So what our offerings are, I call it CINCH Operating System. And it's a series of consulting offers. You can see it's priced pretty competitively, and it's in phases. We have we have a number of customers that aren't in a community yet, but they're so focused, they believe this is the right new frontier to grow their agencies, add revenue, keep caregivers. And so prepared for community care, we share our knowledge and approach to finding, qualifying, marketing, all the sample materials, and some coaching. And it's to get you kind of to the starting line, ready to go. And then ramp up community care is where you may be in, but man, I think I can do better. Maybe we can be more efficient.
Yeah.
And we share our knowledge and techniques. We talked about them today, different ways to schedule, packaging, so forth. And then the next one is the bundle deal, where we combine the two. And this is, whether you're in or not, it's the whole kit and caboodle. And several hours of consulting, and it's ready to either A, get you into a community, make your presentation, and hopefully cross the fingers you get it, or you get that call like we did saying the agency pulled out, can you come in and help us?
Because that's a very common scenario, talking with our customers. It happened to us, and it's happened to several people we know that, you know, you're trying to get into a community and all of a sudden something happens and either the community says the agency needs to leave or the agency says, I can't do this anymore. And it happens very quickly. So being prepared is really good
Right.
idea.
And it comes with not a CINCH license, but you get CINCH because we set up what we call Truman, if you remember the movie Truman, the magical community, so you can see it, understand it. And then we won one community by putting screenshots, because the ED said, man, we've had two fail here. Why are you not going to fail? What are you going to do differently? And I said, well, we built this technology because we understand the business model is different, short visit home care. This is how, and they were like, boom, you're in. So there's an outline up on the website. You can see all the materials that come with this, and it's all about helping you out. And so we're excited about this, and I think we've got a dozen since we introduced it since February.
And so just in summary, there are different ways to manage communities. There's not a right way and a wrong way. It's your way. So if you want to charge by time, it's straightforward. It gives you custom care tailored to that client. Packages can be really, really beneficial, whether they need a lot of care or maybe they need a little care. But the bottom line is tracking the length of time caregivers are with the clients is critical for staffing levels and profitability. I think we had a number of customers, once they put their information into CINCH, realize how far overstaffed they are. When they put in the real numbers of how much time is needed with clients and adjusted the schedules, they didn't need as many caregivers as they were staffing. So.
Right. I'll just, that's a wrap. We wanted to, I know your busy schedule, and we have a Q&A, and we also, Mike, would like to do that poll to everybody. I don't think we did that yet. But if you could take a few minutes to just take a look at this. We're just trying to get a feel for you and this distinguished audience today, how many people are doing it and how many people want to do it. If you're doing it, what's your technology platform? And if you'd like our help, we're here to help, you know. But I will say, I want to emphasize what Gina said, know your community.
Yeah.
And some communities are like luxury retirement homes, and it's more concierge, and a la carte plays really well there. Then there are communities that we were in one community here in Raleigh, which could operate, they call them a MUA, a multi-unit housing. And it's really with an agreement with a home care agency, which was us, they could almost operate like assisted living. And that's why we had 93 clients on service out of 145 residents. And there, some of them need a lot of services. So to Gina's point, some of the packages make sense there.
Right.
When they need a lot of care. So know thy community. You talk to the ED and understand what makes that community tick, what the residents and where they are in their lifestyle. what services they could benefit from.
And they offered laundry services to their residents at an additional cost. So in there, we didn't offer laundry because we didn't want to compete. We did not want to compete since that was a revenue stream for them. So I think my final piece of advice is, I'm gonna say it. If you take away one thing, if you're learning about this wonderful community care setting, is really, please try to avoid the F word, and that's facility. So if you don't remember anything, please, these are communities. It's not a medical facility, it's not assisted living, it's not a nursing home. So they are communities, and you might lose business or not get the business if you use that term. Just to let you know, that's the feedback from all the EDs we've spoken to, like, oh, it's cringeworthy.
I could see it in their face. We learned, we learned that, yeah, thank you, David. We really, Gina was like, community, because I was the guy, and I was like, okay, I got it, I'm 10-4. So I'm giving her credit with her edgy marketing here with the F word, but now you all know it. Really, some of these communities are literally luxury places.
State
Oh
of the
my
art,
God, Watermark and some of these atrias, I mean, oh my gosh. And, but know that community, you will fail if you're not tight with the ED or the manager, like Hawthorne property we're in. They're not EDs, they're literally, they live there and they're general managers. So it's every property's different. Learn their census, what their goals are. And, gosh, you can make such an amazing difference in their lives. And, you know, we've got some of our distinguished clients here that are pioneers, like the Hobbs family, and they'll test you, the EDs rave about them. Like, our community can't make it without you.
right,
And
vital partner.
that opportunity, it is such a good feeling, guys, when you walk into that community and residents and the EDs like, oh, you're here. Gosh, thank you. So there's an opportunity for you, but moreover, you guys are competing out there. Man, it's so much tougher than we were out there. And adding this capability of we call congregate care, where you've got groups of people. It's not only independent living. It is those retirement communities like Dale Webb, multi-housing communities where there's thousands of homes in a cluster, and apartments like Overture, where there's 400 people. They need help too. And this concept applies. So now you're opening up a new market, new revenue stream. And also with us, our caregiver retention and staff retention is the highest because you can pay them more and they really like it. We didn't emphasize it, but it's a different person, a different caregiver. Those in it know that loves being in a community versus one-on-one care.
And they like the team, they like being able to help each other. So CINCH allows them to help each other. And it's great. They own it. They own the community.
So I encourage you to go for it, man. To research it, look what's in your area. We'll answer questions. There's no meter running. We get it. And I think we talked to some of our customers, they respect that from us. And because we respect you and how hard this job is. So questions, or anybody?
I was gonna say, speaking of answering questions, that's great. So we have two. First, the first one is, could you please provide an update on the WellSky integration?
All right, who's asking that?
That's that's coming from Brent Hoffert. So that's a great question. So we're actively working on it. We're waiting for a deploy on the WellSky side of the US software. So basically, once they launch it, we have all our sides ready to go. So we're hoping very, very soon.
Heard a rumor that it could be at any moment, so.
Correct. Yeah. So very soon.
Yeah.
So keep speaking to WellSky on your front, and we'll do our best on our
That's
side.
very helpful when WellSky hears
Keep
from
asking them.
Yeah.
It really is, because at some point they go, okay, fine, here it is. But for our end, what I tell people, I can't give a date. It's the minute that hammer goes down, 3 weeks, we will be ready. And then we've got a lineup of great customers that are WellSkyers that we're
Ready to
doing
go,
that.
yeah.
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 But Also in this distinguished audience, Access Care is already integrated. And that's a great platform too. Those are the top two. And there are other great platforms which we would love to work with out there, whether it's ERSP, Generations, Access, you guys know them, there's a number of them. And our positioning is this, is that we built something unique and special that solves a specific problem well. And it's like QuickBooks made themselves, why not integrate to them? They're great in their little small business niche. And so we would love to work with any technology provider because we built this to be completely open APIs. We got a beautiful caregiver app and it's plug and play, but you don't need to wait, guys. There's my other message. We didn't. We were WellSkyers and we just created a methodology where they work beautifully together side by side. And that's what's happening today.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So the next question is, we have a community, thank you, Eli. We have a community who wants a flyer comparing IL plus their agency versus an assisted living community.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
So
Okay.
do we have anything like that, or should they start from scratch?
Well, I think you could create that with what you do. I think when you look at them side by side, I can only speak for North Carolina, our aides could not administer medications, so they could do medication reminders, take it from a prepackaged into a handed cup and hand it to them. Where assisted living, they can do insulin, they can do medication administration. But in North Carolina, that's pretty much the only thing that home care can't do that assisted living can. So I would look at the regulations in your state.
Same for us.
Yeah, is it same? Yeah. And just that's really what it is. If you're not in the building 24/7, that's another thing. If you don't have enough clients in the building, you're not going to be there around the clock. So assisted living, they have staff on site. So I think those would be the two biggest things.
Words of advice, and this is personal experience. I hired an advocate. It's not a geriatric care manager or aging life care professional. There are a number of placement where families engage a senior advocate to look at various communities. And they should be part of your referral network.
She's asking how to do a flyer
Right,
comparing.
where I'm getting to this is they know the pricing for all the assisted livings in the area. And I got a breakdown of 4 different communities and what their pricing was.
So look at the big cost difference.
It gives, and it helps, okay, I'm an IL and this services cost X. And then here's this assisted living community and what they price. Give you an idea, my mother was on a level 4 and it was $12,000 a month. It was pretty significant. But I would partner up and because they're great. They got that data and it can be helpful to you. And they're also good referrers to work with.
So you look at what you can and can't do and the costs. That would be the biggest thing when creating that.
Right. Yeah, but get help. There's people out there that can help you.
Yeah. Next question. Can you share some of the details on how the caregivers are paid? Are they paid per task or hourly?
That's an outstanding
That's
question.
wonderful. So the caregivers are paid for the shifts that they work. So that's why scheduling them and knowing how many client visits you have. So we use ClearCare WellSky, and we kept the caregivers in WellSky. So they were shifts 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. They were scheduled in WellSky in a client called the Truman Community. So they got the same visit reminders, same missed clock-ins, missed clock-outs. And that's where the integration will work also when that's done and works with Access Care. So they get paid a shift of time. What they do in the community is up to you. So that's why knowing what you need and how much caregiver time you need when is really important. So if they only have one 15-minute visit and you're paying them for 4 hours, well, they like that. Your bottom line won't like that. So that's what it is. So the caregivers are paid a shift of time in your primary platform.
Right.
With the
That's a great question
Yeah.
because we're probably going to do a little brunch and learn on this as well because the big design feature of our team-based environment is caregivers are not assigned to a client. They're assigned a list. That's how shared care works. And they're simply paid for a shift time, not paid by task or by visit.
Mhm.
And yeah, but it works beautifully.
Mhm.
It enables a lot of flexibility to pay our caregivers more
Yeah.
working in a community than traditional.
One-on-one.
Yeah, it's a true shared care system that we've built. Great question. Thank you,
Yeah.
whoever.
The next one is please share the cost of Cinch demonstration and what actually is the demo.
Well,
So as far as the demonstration, there is no cost for the demonstration. If you'd like to sign up for one, it's just your time.
oh yeah, yeah. Yes, seeing is believing, right? I mean, so it's like spend 30 minutes or 40 minutes, probably the best time you can, because one or two things are going to happen. If you're doing it and we can't help you be better, you've just validated you're a rock star. I got a hunch we can help you do better. So it's always great to compare yourself with a standard and the KPIs. We even have a cool assessment we created, score your ability in community care. It's up on our website. I encourage you to take it if you want to kind of score yourself to see how you're doing. But the demos are free. And then in the consulting packages, maybe I hopefully didn't confuse anybody. We give you access. It's like read access to Cinch. You're not operating because you're not there yet, but you can see it, understand it, take screenshots of it, and happy to help you build your I have sample presentations up there. But when you get operational, okay, then you start paying us. That's how we make some money. Makes sense. So
And a lot of it's trying to understand how you're currently doing it, if you are doing it, and speaking to your specific needs, your area, right? Because some people, this is in some areas, I mean, this is a brand new concept. There's nobody else doing this. And in others, it's just inundated with this. So it's hard to get in. So it's really trying to get full idea, that holistic view of you and how we can help if possible. Or as Tim said, maybe you're already a rock star. That'd be great.
thanks,
Oh,
Eli.
thanks.
I mean, I have to give Gina and Micah amazing kudos. Especially Gina, Micah she can look at your schedule and just like it's like Beautiful Mind, if you ever read that movie, right? I am not kidding. And I think some of our customers will tell you and go, you know what, I'm looking out here deploying the horses here. Okay, I think we can do this and this and this and that. And it's just amazing.
It's just asking the right questions to the staff that's managing them. It's knowing what questions to ask to say, how do you want to manage it? And what to look for. And that's what's important. Did it for a long time.
Yes, that's part of our relationship. This isn't just technology. Technology without the people isn't a solution. So that's the advantage of being home creators. As Mike and I did the invoice, we had to make sure we're making money. We take care of our caregivers. Gina had to schedule properly. I mean, so we can jump in and help. And we love to see our customers talking to each other. I know you're different franchises and all that, but God, we can learn from each other. And so anyway, thank you for that question on the demo.
It says, yeah, access to it.
Yeah. So we appreciate the comments from Eli and Dave. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with you guys. It's been goodness. Hobbs, it's been over a year, almost a year and a half, coming up on a year and a half. It has been, time flies.
Well, Dave was special to us. He actually came to our house.
Yeah.
He just got in his car and he goes, "You know what? I'm coming to see you."
Yeah. We spoke on a Friday. He was in the car on Monday.
Yep. And then we went out and saw him, saw his operation.
No, and I will say, you guys are awesome. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hear you echoing in the other room. No, they've been awesome to work with, and they did. I did a demo on Monday, and we were done at 3. I hopped in the car Monday evening and drove 500 miles, and Tuesday morning we were in their community. And it has been a great product. It really has helped streamline my community vastly to where it's become very profitable. And quite honestly, I don't have to work as hard. So anytime I can find a product that does that for me, hold people accountable, which is huge being able to back up the service you provided to clients and their children, because you're working with dementia clients who say nobody ever came to the room, and we can pull it up. And now with the access that the children have, where they can actually go online and see when we were in the room, we don't even have to field those calls anymore. We just say, hey, you go online, you take a look at it yourself. So it's made my life much easier. So I do appreciate you guys sincerely.
We
You
I
appreciate
give
it.
them a hard time
No,
joking with them, but I do truly appreciate the job they do.
Yeah.
he's got a huge community.
A big
Yeah.
operation, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we solved this to solve the big problems, to David's point, because we had the big problem, 93 residents at one time, so scaling down is a bit easier. But yeah, you guys are great to work with. So,
We appreciate your
thank you,
time.
David,
Thank
for
you. Yeah, thanks, David.
and same to you, Eli.
Yeah.
Anything else in questions?
No other questions. Did anyone else have any other questions they'd like to prompt? If not, looks like nothing's coming through right now.
Great.
Well, if you
But-
had a chance to do the survey, just want to get a feel for you and where you are and what platform, and yeah, you know where to find us if we can help you out. And thank you for taking time out of your schedule. And we're going to do a lot of these brunch and learns just on key
Mhm.
problems. And we'll keep you posted. Love for you to join us again.
Keep you posted on WellScan too.
Yeah, and we'll send this recording out to everybody as well who's registered. So in case you need to review it or send it to some of your teammates as well.
Yeah, we'll have the recording, and I'll PDF this presentation as well for you all. So thank you for joining us today.
Appreciate it. Thank you all.
Bye bye, all.